Yo, Inca, you want to come out here? I didn't intend for this to happen this way, but we're here anyway. So originally, I was going to publish the week 6, week 7 video, excuse me, as its own video, and then do the final week with some playoff stuff and everything else, but life came up. In addition, some matches not happening as timely as they could have, so we're going to go through everything from week 6 and week 7, and you'll get an interesting, just like a different playoff video for like the playoff matchups and such, because of some specific rules that I have in this league for how playoffs go. However, with that being said, this is the last 2 weeks of action in the MDA. I hope you missed it because we're back at it. And yeah, so these last few videos will be, just going over what's happened in the last 2 weeks, then playoffs, and then subsequent playoff videos. So let's get started. First and foremost, we're going to go through week 6 since I guess it's been a bit of time and I still have good recollection of these things, so that's good. So, first battle of the week was the Crawford Crustals beating the Zigzagooners Great 2-0. We saw a really good performance out of Panchos, keeping his playoff hopes alive against Fiverr. And realistically, this could have been better for Fiverr, I guess, but it just certainly wasn't. That game 1 was definitely interesting. That game 2, Cradily, man. Crady's a very, very funny Pokemon, and when it wants to activate, it activates crazy style. And honestly, with the way that you have Crustle and Cradily and anything else, Shell Smash or just Ancient Power boosting otherwise, this could have gone either way, but it just was not in the heart of the cards for the Zigzagooners Great. And Crawford keeping up what they need, a good win this week to give up their playoff hopes. And Zigzagooners Great still falling forward, and maybe they'll get a win next week in week 7, but hey, anything is possible. Congratulations to Crawford on their 2-0 victory. Not too much to talk about with this game. This next game, Kahului versus Orlando, and I tell you what, this could have gone better for Orlando, but I mean, man, this was a game to forget for Orlando because, Kahului bringing a really great team, and that Ursaluna was doing that work that second game, I want to say. I don't specifically remember, but this really came back to the fact that Quaquaval was a great transactional piece to really help keep this team going, and Ursaluna proving that, again, it's still a really great Pokemon, just, sometimes depends on how it happens. And on the other side of things, it could have been better. I was certainly expecting maybe Mega Scizor to do a little bit more, or maybe just Ian would have brought hazards, I guess. It would definitely help this game. But unfortunate that it didn't happen that way, and 2-0 victory to Kahului, and they continue to keep up with Primer and their number 1 slot, trying to make sure that they can maybe even overtake them. But with this loss, Orlando doesn't fall out of playoff contention or anything like that. It's just that, it could be bad if they were to lose again, should other circumstances happen, but hey, congratulations on Kahului on their 2-0 victory. Let's go ahead and move on to the next matchup, which was the Rachus and Annihilate versus the Malformed Mayhem. Top teams, get into it. The 1 and the 3, and I'm not saying that no one should be surprised that it went this way, because there was no banning of Kyurem. Instead, I think it was Raging Bolt, and Sandy made some interesting, drops getting that Landorus, but it did not matter because Freeze Dry spam is just hellish. But it is what it is at some points, but this game, this could have gone either way, but it was just, once Kyurem wasn't banned, it was basically established to me that all you need to do is slap a Choice Scarf on Kyurem, knock off any Choice Scarfs on the other side, and Freeze Dry spam is as good as gold. No pun intended, even though there was no gold angle here. Regardless, Primer played this game excellently and keeps up in the playoff race to make sure that they don't fall out of the 1st or 2nd seed slotting. Well, Sandy probably will keep that 3rd seed just given his record and everything, but anything's possible. But with that being said, congratulations to the Rage Fist Annihilate on the 2-0 victory over the Malformed Mayhem. Definitely a really great game. You guys should definitely check it out below. Lastly, we have the No More Heroes versus the Vegas Goldango, and these are games that you need to win. These are games that are important, and good Lord have mercy, the normal heroes put it bluntly that they were here to keep up with the playoff hopes. And while yes, you might notice that Gyarados went 6-2, it did not matter with this matchup. I mean, honestly, it was definitely really good on Cog the way that he was setting up in the first game, but that second game, man, this was two competitive ass matches for teams that really want to keep up in the playoff race. And it is unfortunate that Cog lost because he's the one who really needs to win. And I mean, they both really need to win, but truthfully, Cog definitely would have preferred to win this game, honestly, but it is what it is sometimes. I definitely think that this could have gone better for Cog, but I mean, I would have tried to get it to a 2-1, maybe not as much differential gets as lost, but happens sometimes. And I mean, you know, Psychic and Dark fighting Fairy and Ground, not always gonna work out the greatest with that Fairy hitting that Dark super effectively, but I mean, you know, could have gone a different way, at least with the Iron Boulder being allowed after the first week it got taken from him, but you know, it is what it is. Congratulations to Knack and their No More Heroes on their 2-0 victory. But moving on, here are the standings after that. So, you know, Primer at 5-1 plus 31, Kahului at 5-1 plus 17, Malformed at 4-2 plus 9, Orlando at 3-3 plus 4, Knack at 3-3 minus 5, Vegas at 2-4 plus 4, but Crawford at 2-4 minus 3, while the Zigzagoon are great, 0-6 minus 51. So, how does this all shake down? That's what you're probably mostly curious about. Well, I got it for you. First and foremost, the Rage Fist Annihilate, Malformed Mayhem, and the Kahului Cone Phase got clinched by virtue of every other team not being as good as they could have been. Rage Fist and Kahului were basically already clinched, I feel like, after they kind of were doing their thing, but this officially did it. Malformed can fall as far as 5th. They cannot fall to 6th because they cannot obtain a 4th loss. So, playoff scenarios. Orlando just needs to win and they're in. Pretty simple stuff. They have the head-to-head over Crawford No More Heroes and would need everything to go wrong to get eliminated. And I mean, literally everything would have to go wrong for them to get eliminated. But, you know, that's the reality for them. No More Heroes, they win and, you know, they're in, but they fight the 2nd seed. So it's kind of hard to determine whether or not you're really going to get there. Your differential's bad, you need to win, and you only have head-to-head over Vegas, so no head-to-head over Orlando, or even Crawford in that manner. So it's like, well, there it is. So they definitely need to win. Vegas needs to win, but if they lose, Crawford losing would also keep them in the race, but it's basically head-to-head. So basically, there was no chance, based on how Crawford loses, would determine how bad Vegas is allowed to lose. And let's say it was like a -10 or -12 or something, and Crawford didn't lose that bad, Crawford could easily leapfrog because they, I don't think they have the head-to-head, but they would need Vegas to lose as well. So it's a really weird situation, differential head-to-head wise. Having the same record, it would go to head-to-head basically, and then it's like record, differential, head-to-head. It really just depends on where the gray area lies. And that record means a lot more than most people give it, but my league, my rules. But Crawford just needs to win, and they need Vegas to lose, and, you know, if they both win, Crawford needs someone else to lose out, and that's kind of where that stood for Week 6 into Week 7. And let me tell you, let's go over these matchups, because it's very important that we do, because these matchups mean a lot for everybody. So, the first matchup of Week 7, going over it just briefly here. No More Heroes versus Kahului. I had Kahului winning this game 110%. And, you know, I looked at each team. No More Heroes made 3 or 4 transactions. They got rid of their Mega Garchomp, I want to say it was. Were they Mega Garchomp? I think so. I'm pretty sure, right, Avery? Probably. If they weren't, they got rid of their Mega regardless and picked a Mega Diancie. They got rid of Pheasantipity. No. Yeah, well, I mean, they did get rid of Pheasantipity, really. And they got the Tinkaton. And then they got the Landorus and the Seismitoad. And, you know, everything worked out for them, I guess. I don't actually remember. But, Hey, guess what, chicken ass? They didn't choose to ban anything, but Kahului did ban the Great Tusk. And while this game only has playoff implications for one team to at least make it in, Kahului could take an easy break here and then just get ready for playoffs, basically. If they lose super hard, though, then it ends up in a really bad situation for them, of course, because then you have the chance of dropping down to the 3rd seed, which means you want to get a week off. So you want to make sure you win. I have them winning. I think it's primarily an easy enough game for them just to like barrel on through. I mean, I think that Quaquaval looks fantastic this week. As long as you can get rid of screen super early, Quaquaval can basically sweep up the rest of his game. And in interest of that, so can Ursaluna. If you can get off a good Trailblaze, all you really need to do is make sure you outpace, I want to say, not even Diancie, because Diancie doesn't, unless it's body press, it's not really doing too much. So after that, I think it's Landorus you have to outpace, basically. So Trailblaze into Imagination, this team starts folding. They just need to be defensive enough, I guess, but otherwise, pretty easy game for Kahului to win, but it can honestly go both ways. But I have 2-1 Kahului here. It's a very good game. With the new additions, I think that it's going to be very interesting to see Mega Diancie. I don't think it's great into this team, but just on principle. But I think Tiggeton's good with Thunder Wave and being able to put up rocks is very important. If Terapagos doesn't show up, or just in general, if it gets stopped from being able to rapid spin early enough. And like Seismitoad's cool because it helps, I guess, against like Palmot. But like otherwise, why would Seismitoad be here? I think Landorus is definitely good here. A lot of physical offense here. You can definitely ward off a lot of that damage with Intimidate. But honestly, just experience, and I think the team composition is way better on Kalui's side. Regardless, we move on to the next matchup, which is a very, very important matchup for one coach. The other coach, I mean, they would like to win, but it doesn't really matter. So here's the thing. Malformed banned Gigalith, and Crawford banned Politoed. And I definitely disagreed with the Politoed ban. I think Pelipper is way, way better. But also, like, it just needs boots, or it could be Scarf and just hit the shit out the team. But you might notice that Gigalith is here all of a sudden, and so is Caracosta. So Crawford got rid of 2 Mons, Crustle notably, and I'm forgetting the other Mon, or I'm blanking on it. I can probably pull it up in the Discord here. 1 second. They got rid of the Macargo for Caracosta and got rid of Crustle for Gigalith. And I was right. It was Pheasantipity, Gliscor, Mega Garchomp, but Enamorous for No More Heroes. Anyways, we're getting off topic. So this matchup literally is the hardest one of the season for Crawford. If they come out to win this, I mean, we're talking about generational wealth for this team. But obviously, I'm guessing that Malformed Mayhem will win because it is a water, rain-based team with flying types galore. I mean, it is just, it's literally poverty watching. I don't even know what to tell you. Like, this is unreal ball. Like, if Sandy were to go out there and lay a goose egg, sure. If he doesn't care, sure. But, man, holy shit. Like, it would take a lot out of Crawford to really wrap this up and go win the game just off the dome for me. But I don't know if it's going to happen, if I'm being honest with you. I think that this is the end of the road. They had a great season. Well, I won't lie. They did not have the greatest season they could have had. But with the way the team was shifting all the time and just everything else with having to fight specific types and getting into scenarios that weren't very favorable, I can understand how the season might have not gone your way. That being said, I think this battle is definitely going Malformed's way, but Pantros has shown me time and time again that anything is possible. So I think he can do it, and personally, I still think it's Malformed's game to lose. I think it's still 2-0 Malformed, but Crawford comes out here one of those games and just starts blowing things up. Hey, hands up, Maybe we'll see an entrance from Mega Aerodactyl Dragon Dancing, but I don't know. At the end of the day, this literally seems like it's Malformed's game to lose. So 2-0 Malformed, that's what my guess is. Moving forward, we have the Zigzagoon is great versus the Ragefist Annihilate, and we see Rillaboom getting banned and Hisuian Goodra getting banned. I think you guys know what's going to happen at this point. I think Ragefist will pick up a W. But if, you want to bring the C team of all time, I mean, you can. But do not spare anybody in this league just because they don't have any wins. Always go for the W. But hey, you heard it here first from me. I don't spare people no matter what the record is. Unless they are like, hey, I really want a meme game or anything else. I am very much put your best foot forward and do not look back. So Ragefish should probably pick up this victory. But if Fiverr can put together a team of just straight up stall, basically, to really put this game away, I mean, it could work the first game. You know, you have half your team stall and half your team offense and see how it goes. But honestly, still Ragefish, you know, they've definitely done their fair share of, you know, acid armor, which you did ban the acid armor, but there's always more in the back. They've done their fair share of toxic and then just, you know, protect and status, just bulking up or even setting up and such. It's a very, very like well-balanced team that knows all the moves of its mons. So Ragefish 2-0. I would be very surprised should Zigzagooners Great take a game off of this team, because this team's really good. But regardless, I wish you luck, Fiverr. Let's see if you can get a dub on the season. The last game of the week is probably the one with the most playoff implications, because they could play again. This is Vegas Goldango versus the Orlando Solar Beartics. Vegas decided to ban Celesteela, while Orlando banned Iron Boulder. And I think that this game literally will go one possible way, and that's Orlando probably doing some shit with Mega Scizor. While I do understand that there is the Psychic Terrain, Agility Scizor exists. I'm pretty sure Mon still gets that move, but we're in that deck, so I'm sure it does. And I want Agility later. This team's falling apart. Yes, you could probably use Crocodile and Gyarados for your Intimidate and such, but listen, they're still not going to want to take U-turns and such. And you know me, man. I mean, well, Gyarados, before it Megas, doesn't care. But once it Megas, it's like, fuck. And even when it hasn't Mega'd yet, you still have the goddamn Archaludon of all time that can run Electro Shot and maybe Power Herb just to get it off. I mean, you have a good enough team to really do what you have to do. It really comes back to who's setting up first. Is it going to be the Mega Gyarados Dragon Dancing, or is it going to be an Archaludon or Jirachi, or even like a, I guess like even like Volcarona, but I feel like Volcarona is not as good as it should be here. But with the banning of Iron Boulder, anything's possible. So it definitely becomes more enabled. But with the fact that you have like Roaring Moon just being able to maybe even be Mirror Herb this week, or even like if you want to try it, you can give more Pico some playing time and see what you get done with that. Maybe like a Power Herb Dig sort of stuff, like Heatran luring. But otherwise, it feels like this should be 2-1 Orlando, but it literally can go either way. It just depends. Do these coaches care enough for making playoffs, or are we going to see a coach throw? Are we going to see some funny move and like set ideas? We'll see. But I think you already know what I know. It's week 7. So let's move on into week 7. The first thing you have to understand is that this was the original panel, right? I was going to end off everything and be like, week 6 review and week 7 preview and haha, hee hee. Nope. Like I told you at the top of the episode, we're going through both weeks. So week 7, let's go ahead and talk about it, shall we? First and foremost, the Malformed Mayhem went 2-0 over the Crawford Crustals. I always talk like I haven't watched the game, so I don't allude to anything happening. Or at least allude to how it could go. I just make my predictions based on what I wrote down. And I like to think I did a pretty good job this past week, but it is what it is. Malformed picking up the 2-0 victory means that Crawford is officially out of playoffs. Yeah, it was not, these are two games that were definitely two games to forget for Crawford, if I'm being honest with you. I think that this was definitely an example of Sandy putting his foot down and saying, fuck it, I really don't want to have to fight this team if I have to again, especially if I'm not allowed to ban Gigalith or anything of that nature. I think that Pelipper doing nothing but only setting up the rain and then just enabling, you know, the fact that Primarina got fucking started and Landorus also was doing that work. I mean, this was a foregone conclusion. This game was over once you saw how things were going for each team. I definitely think that while I want to say it could have gone either way, I have to give props to Sandy for making sure that Iron Jugglers didn't get any more kills. Thank you. You know I should be giving Pantros credit, but he wasn't going to allow it, so I have to give Sandy his props for not forcing it. Fuck you, by the way. Regardless, 2-0 victory for Malformed Mayhem, and I mean, man, it's sad, but it is what it is sometimes, man. Some teams are going to make it, some teams aren't. But, moving on, since this game happened first in the week, I'm going to let you know in advance that once I told Ian and Cog that their game didn't have as much significance, you'll see, trust. You will see what happened. Maybe not on screen, but you will be able to look at the replay and be able to determine how they went about that and how they went about that newfound information. But let's talk about the other matches because they were the last match that happened. Next match of the week was the Rage Fist Annihilate 2-0 over Zigzagoon is great. I don't think anyone's too surprised here, but it definitely felt a little bit more competitive. I'm not going to lie to you. Definitely could have seen some turning up from Fiverr this week, but happens that way sometimes. And, you know, you got your Kiram, you got your expected characters in this game, you know, Kira, Megaladios, Iron Hands, Iron Thorns for some reason. You know, you got your usual suspects, but it's not a game to remember for Zigzagoon is great. Like some of these games you were like, oh yeah, this could have gone either way. This was one of those games where you're like, damn, this wasn't going either way, but at least you tried. I gotta give Fiverr credit. You played out the entire season despite all else, and I have to give you major props for that. So thank you for participating, because honestly, I know I've gone winless in a league before, so I know what it's like. But thank you for at least, you know, sticking it through. And congratulations to Rage Fist Annihilate on their 2-0 victory. But let's just move on to this other game that was... Alright, let's talk about it. Alright, Kahului wins 2-1 over No More Heroes. Now, I want you to make sure that you're all listening here and locking in with me here. Okay? No More Heroes wins game 1. Pretty handily, alright? Then, game 2. The explosion of Landers happens. It explodes last turn. And I know how some people will reward this. I award it as, what did the game say? And it's based on what Pokemon died last. And guess who picked up a 0-0 win, but ended up winning game 3 and win the series? Kahului, which gave them negative differential. The first time, I think, that a team got negative goddamn differential was Kahului. But they won the set. At the very least, it counts as a win. But man, I was like... I watched this game, like, literally after it had happened. I watched the replays over and over, and I'm like, this is a game. These are games of all time right here, boy. And you see Meloella up there, since it did not resemble anybody else's differential. I guess I could have put Iron Valiant and Zamazenta together, but I had already... It was a foregone conclusion I was going to do this. Meloetta definitely helped those last 2 games after Terapagos got switched out for it. And... man, this was a good set. I need you guys to go watch this one specifically. This was a good set. And while, yes, No More Heroes technically didn't really lose anything in this regard besides the game, since Crawford lost, I mean, they didn't really have much to, you know, lose by losing here. But it was like, that game 1 was funny as shit. It was like... I don't know what the fuck. Like, RNG hates Komori so fucking much in my leagues, but it is what it is sometimes. But congratulations to Kahului on their 2-0 victory, or 2-1 victory over No More Heroes. This was a game, a set of all time, but a really good set, if I do say so myself. But it is what it is. Now, like I said earlier, Ian and Cog were told by me personally that their games, they can go ahead and do whatever they want to. What that meant was that Cog had added me in a server, or well, I think he might have added me in his server, about what sets he was bringing. I waited a week and a half for that battle, those 2 battles to happen, because circumstances happen and people forget and everything else is happening. NHL playoffs, work, all these other things, man. That goes without telling you. I am going to tell you right now, you pause the video and go watch these 2 games. Volcarona went from like 4-3 to 14-3. The thing that Cog did to Mark, to Fiverr, yeah, guess what? It came back to haunt him, didn't it? Getting all these damn fucking kills. Yeah, 2-0 Orlando. I'm not even going to talk about this game. You go watch it. I thought it was funny as shit. He brought Focus Band on a bunch of his mons and did not get rewarded at all, big fellow. That's it. I don't have much other context to give you. So, congratulations to Orlando for their 2-0 victory. Cog didn't have to win this game, and that's all there is to it. Let's talk about the standings. So, obviously, I was hovered over Crawford here, but the standings didn't really change too much. As we saw, Rage Fist go to 6-1 plus 38. They're the official 1 seed. Congratulations to them. The official 2nd seed is Kahului. Well, yes, you might notice that the differential is worse to Malformed, and Malformed may own the head-to-head. The record holds a lot of weight here, and the differential isn't too dissimilar to each other, so it is what it is. In any other circumstance, I would have said move up Malformed, but to me, the record meant a lot more in this case. Malformed, obviously, 5-2 plus 15. Orlando, 4-3 plus 14. No More Heroes, 3-4 minus 1, and Vegas at 2-5 minus 6. And even if they had lost 12, minus 12, they still would only hit a minus 8. So once Crawford lost, it was basically, sorry man, you're out. And 0-7 minus 58 for the Zigzagoon is great. So your top 6 seeds are all in playoffs. What does that mean? Well, Rage Fist and Kahului will enjoy a week off of peace. Since I was super late with everything, they get an extra transactions for 4 transactions they can make, taken from other teams if they wanted to, that are similar, that have like a similar type to them. So if there's a normal, I guess, how do I even phrase this? I know you guys understand, but if Malformed wanted Cara Costa, for instance, they could theoretically do that. And, if another team, let's say, I don't think I have another example, do I? Hold on, let me check my book. No, I don't have another one. Well, you get it. Or maybe you don't, but you get it. They could take from these teams, essentially, is what I'm saying. I guess Annihilate could be taken from Crawford as well and given to Kahului if you wanted to do something like that. But regardless, those are your 6 teams. I'm not sure if it's going to be 3 versus 6 or 4 versus 5 or 3 versus 5 and 4 versus 6. I don't know. I think I'm trying to avoid doing like rematches immediately. So it might be 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5, but I'm going to spin a wheel on it. And if I'm being honest, you can do it traditionally or you can do it a different way. It doesn't really matter. I just want to see some battles happen. The coaches have until Tuesday. I think I set it down for Tuesday, the 13th of May. So this video will come out the 12th, and then I will have a playoff preview video for any transactions that they made, probably by the end of this week, Saturday-ish range, and then we'll get back to regular uploads and such, or regular-ish uploads and such. But that is going to do it for the last 2 weeks of action of Week 6 and Week 7 and the playoff picture as it stands. Check out the next video that comes out this upcoming Saturday, since Sunday is the beginning of the week. For any of you freaks out there who don't believe me, fuck you. And this has been a great season. This league has been running smoothly, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed by very little, but it's been definitely very expected and impressive that the league has been running smoothly. Next season, we'll probably run doubles, but we'll see what I'm thinking. I do want to do another Wi-Fi, but I'm not too sure how people are going to react if I tell them they need to upload, because last time I did Wi-Fi was last season, and nobody barely uploaded. I don't even think anyone uploaded, so I'm kind of against the idea. We can do non-upload, but I love to watch the games and love to be there, so we might just stick to Showdown, but you leave a comment down below, and also, if you want to join the server, join down below. Subscribe today and not miss out on any of my videos and anything else that I make that aren't just videos but shorts and other things. But thank you guys for watching. This has been the MDA last 2 weeks of action. I'll see you guys on Saturday for the playoff preview. Talk to you guys then. Good night and good luck.